Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah HaKodash. I double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere Shalom to Yakim, bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Just meditating through the Spirit this morning. This is in transit, meditating on the Spirit. The Scriptures tells us this, man, that this is a duty for us. Also, when we go into the book of Matthew, the 7th chapter, it speaks about judge. A righteous man judgeth all things, right? Matter of fact, I'll start with that. It's Matthew 7, and it's at the top. It says, "Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment..." This is the one, Salakia. Right here. This is the one, 1 Corinthians, Salakia. Is 1 Corinthians 2. And now 15. It says, "But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man." Right? He that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. Right? And that's because when we go into the book of Matthew 7, right, it says, "Judge not that ye be judged, for with what judgment ye judged, it shall be meet unto you." Paraphrasing, right? Because our duty is to always examine ourselves, right? This is part of the walk Yahweh Shai has us in. And really, if you care, about, how you're building, if you care about, the state that you're supposed to be in, as the scriptures tell us, then you'll be monitoring, your actions. You'll be monitoring, how you build. Basically paying attention to all the intricacies, and being a man of Yahweh Shai, man. You're very attentive, right? When we always go into husbandry, starting with our apostles on down, that's a labor that's very meticulous, right? Because you have to pay attention to all these different factors while still maintaining your health, right? Because a farmer that is sickly can't tend unto the health and the state of his crops, right? Because if you're bedridden, so to speak, if you're always down, you can't wake up in the morning, you low energy, then you can't tend to that seed, man, right? So it says, "But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man," because that man that is spiritual is judging himself, making sure that he's on point, right? Once a seed is planted, the work doesn't stop there. That's not where it ends, man. It's a lot of cultivating that has to be done once that seed is in that ground, man. The farmer then has to ward off pests, whether it be insects, whether it be rodents. Including insects, including rodents, right? He has to make sure that soil was prepped for that seed, right? Proper irrigation needs to be set in because, the seeds could be flooded out. He has to make sure that the seeds are planted deep enough or rooted, or else the wind will blow them away. So it's a meticulous job, and it's likened unto us in the spirit with how we're building here, man. You have to pay attention to how you're building. The younger men, you have to pay attention to how the spirit is moving upon your elders of the camp, right? You have to be watching videos. You have to be reading, right? It reminds me of the scripture in Wisdom of Solomon, when it speaks about it says diversities of roots, the winds, going into like meteorology or whatever those weathercasters, whatever science that is, you know how the wind blows and weather patterns. A farmer has to know about all those different things. Now it's still gonna be certain unpredictable situations, which is likened into the hells and tribulations that we encounter on this walk. Nevertheless, you have to weather through the storm. Call on Yabashima Shai, man. You have to weather through that storm, man, because you eating depends on the harvest, right? The scripture, it had me thinking about also as speaking through the Spirit. We understand the scripture tell us in the parable of the talents, man. Ultimately, you have to multiply those talents and be fruitful and be profitable unto Yahweh Shema Shai, so that the Spirit may rest, or to continue to rest upon you, man. A farmer doesn't just plant 2 seeds, He makes sure that whole ground, is sprinkled, with seeds, and it's multiple crops. It's not just one crop of squash, or corn. No, it's multiple seeds in multiple areas, man. Right? Like the diversities of the Spirit. Right? You have to be a profitable farmer within the ministry, man. Profitable in the art of husbandry. Right? And one thing I'm noticing now, more now than ever, is that in examining ourselves, Yahweh Shema Shai is opening up ways, in those avenues for us to get strengthened quicker. It's like what you're praying for is being answered faster. What you're studying, is being brought up and the next day, in the Spirit. You read one precept or you read chapters in whatever book. Next thing you know, you got brothers doing lessons on that exact chapter. The apostles touching on that exact chapter. Now we understand we're in the midst of heavy prophecy, right? In terms of all that's going on with Trump, Russia, China. But even the scriptures tell us the end is not yet. We understand that the MOTB has to be made mandatory. These are just, part of the woes that are coming, man. These are the birth pains, as the scripture tells us, right? But it's still important to lock into your spirit while we're prophesying, man. Making sure that, you're not being a hypocrite. Because the walk ain't easy, man. Husbandry is not a simple, easy profession. No. It takes time management. And that's a big thing too, is the elders always touch on, making sure that your time is dedicated to the woman, man. And not your woman, the woman, wisdom. Right? Because even then you'll find yourself, we're men in the flesh. As Apostle Paul said in the book of 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter, he that have a wife, care for the things of the world. He that have no wife, care for how to please the Most High, how he may please. He that have no wife, care for the things of the Lord, so how he may please Yahweh Shema Shai. Right? You find yourself, having a woman, and you have to manage that time. And I'm speaking to myself first with her, man. Because she could be used against you in this walk, right? If a farmer is so focused on his farm wife, so to speak, and not on the crops, crops die, man. The field becomes a place of attack. Those seeds become vulnerable, man. So just maintaining and growing in the Spirit, maintaining your faith, growing. These are things of necessity. Because at the end of the day, we're indebted. We're indebted to build. We're indebted to plant. We're indebted to work unto Yahweh Shema Shai, man. That's one thing you have to remind yourself as well. I know I'm everywhere, but it's all leading back to the same purpose of he that is spiritual judgeth all things. And you're supposed to be judging yourself first. Right? So now I can actually go into that book of Matthew, the 7th chapter. Right? Right, Matthew 7 at the top, it says, "Judge not that ye be not judged, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again." So making sure that you're in order, because as our apostles say, you don't know who's watching you, man. Right? We know that we upload these videos through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Hey, but you don't know who's clicking on them. Right? Just like has me thinking about in the book of Acts. Right? You don't know who you'll be around. Hey, when all hell break loose, and who you may have to teach, man. People know our faces and still don't come up to camp. Though it will happen. Jake got to get hit a little harder for it to occur, but nevertheless, it's going to happen, man. And make sure that you're on point in the spirit, man. Trimming the fat, right? Trimming the fat, being purged with the hyssop, because, hey, where the times that we're coming into is only becoming, heavier. It's only becoming heavier, and you want to make sure that you're on point, man. Make sure that you're properly, building. Speaking for myself first, these lessons, they apply unto the speaker before they apply unto everyone else who's listening. That's why the scriptures is as a two-edged sword, man. We're cut by the word first. In order to wield the sword, you have to have been cut and constantly cut by it. That's the way that this goes, man. But that was the point, not to make the lesson too lengthy, but to emphasize on the purpose of, building, right? And it takes that inner monologue, so to speak, man. Where we're the largest critics on ourselves first. We know when we're lacking in areas. You can feel it. And that's when you have to adjust the game plan, so to speak, man. Like a farmer can tell or smell when it rains. Okay, well, I can't plant this particular crop today, but I can put this one in the ground or tend to this plant. These crops that are already, blossoming, already sprouting. It's a science to it, and the word science means to know, and you have to know yourself, right? Satan is going to be attacking on different levels. Resist, man. Yeah, it gets uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. Perfection ain't created without stresses. Perfection isn't created without stresses, man. So, and plants don't just grow without their roots pushing up against the ground. It takes, that process, man. It takes the process of, because when a seed is compacted in the soil, that seed ultimately has to sprout from underneath that dirt. That's upward pressure that's being applied, or downward pressure, I should say, being applied into that seed, man. Right? To the point where that seed has to become strong enough to push down its roots and to spring up. Right? It's like pressure beneath, pressure above. Pressure beneath and pressure above. So it has to be rooted enough to not blow away, but it also has to be growing enough so that it sprouts. Which is ultimately balance. That's beautiful. It called on Yahweh Shema Shai. It's ultimately balance within that seedling, man. And that's what we have to have as well. We have to maintain that balance and grow with the nutrients, right? Ultimately the word, the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. And then the increase occurs, right? Whereas scripture say it yielded the peaceable fruit of righteousness. Yeah, but that was the point, man. That was the point. So, continue to judge yourself, right? Continue to judge yourself. And the Lord, when he sees that you're being attentive unto you, you're fighting, he gives the increase, man. He gives the increase. Oh, matter of fact, I'll end off with that scripture. Apollos watered in the book of, I believe it's in the book of Acts. I was slacking. 1 Corinthians 3. There's 1 Corinthians 3 and 5. It says, who then is Paul and who is Apollos, but ministers by whom ye believed, even as the Lord gave to every man? I have planted, Apollos watered, but Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai gave the increase. So then neither is he that planteth anything, neither he that watereth, but Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai giveth the increase. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. For we are laborers together with Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Ye are the Most High's husbandry. Ye are Yahweh's building. According to the grace of Yahweh, which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. Right? Let every man take heed how he built thereupon. Right? So that's monitoring yourself, knowing what you have to strip and take away or add into yourself in order to be profitable. All the balance, man. This is the condition of the battle. You have to fight against yourself in order to fight for the Lord. So that I could keep reading, but I have to wrap it up. But nevertheless, man, now's the point. So a Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the body. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Harakakwadash. A double honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to Yakim, bringing out this word in diligence and in truth. Shalom.